What attributes do you feel are important for law enforcement officers to possess, and how would you apply them?
I believe integrity is probably the most important attribute, in my opinion, and responsibility. Integrity in law enforcement, you really are being watched by everyone, the public, your superiors, your coworkers, and you have certain policies and procedures that you have to abide by, laws that you have to know and abide by, and keeping your integrity and the honesty of yourself and the department is key. The second would be responsibility, because as a police officer, you have the responsibility for people's lives. You have the responsibility for their well-being, and so you need to make sure that that's one of your top priorities as a police officer in order to have success and have the support of those all around you.
Tell us a time in your life when you were met with stress, and how did you deal with it?
My first week on the job was Stanislaus County Sheriff's Department. Um, Coming right out of the academy, it was 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and we received a call of shots fired. We go to the reporting party's house, speak with them. While speaking with them, shots were being fired towards us in our direction. At that moment, I really had to rely on the training and skills that I had learned in the academy, and I had to compose myself and realize that this was a situation in which we had talked about many times, but yet in the moment my body and my mind were stressed, and I had to cope with that. And my training officer at the time helped me realize that you need to think kind of that it's just kind of a Hollywood scene and you're in it. And he helped me through that really quickly, and in about 30 seconds my mind switched. I was able to overcome that stress and move forward. And then when those situations happened later, I was able to overcome those quickly, and I was able to think and act according to my training and experience.
What have you done to prepare yourself for this position, and what goals have you established for your professional life?
So, having gone to a police academy at the Alameda County Regional Training Facility in California, they set their expectations really high, and I love that. They required us to get a 90% on all of our tests, and we were only allowed two tests that were below 90, but then we still had to remake those tests and get a 90% or above on those. Their expectations were excellent. It made us, as the recruits in the academy, focus on the things we had to study, the laws, the report writing, all the different steps that we had to take, and the scenario testing. And it helped me kind of put my head on straight in order for me to have a real understanding the importance of having your head on straight in law enforcement. Having gone through that academy and then being hired by the Stanislaus County Sheriff's Department, I prepared myself for this job, having gone through their field training officer program, having passed that successfully. And in doing so, I've been able to train myself more by going to school. And I'm currently going to school for my criminal justice degree, get a bachelor's in that. And I do have the aspiration to go and get a master's degree one day in public administration, so that I may possibly move up and help the departments I work for in a better way. So my goals would be to get the bachelor's degree finished, go on, move forward and get my master's degree, and then use the skills and the training and the talents that I have to help those around me, to help the communities I serve.
You are driving in your marked police car along a canal bank at midnight, and on the other side of the canal, in an open field, you see a man holding an axe standing over another man on the ground. The man with the axe has lifted it over his head, ready to swing down and hit the other man, who is not resisting in any way. What course of action would you take?
So immediately, I would be coming out of my car as quickly as possible with my gun being drawn. yelling commands as much as I could in order to attempt to de-escalate the situation. Knowing that in this scenario the man has the axe ready over his head, I would be ready to shoot. I need to be aware of my surroundings. I need to be aimed at center mass. And I need to be understanding as well that I don't know the situation and I don't know if there is alcohol involved, drugs involved, etc. And I need to take that all into account so that I know I have to stop the threat, and I would be shooting the threat until I felt and knew the threat was accomplished and was down. And so that would be the most important part of that situation, is the life of that person on the ground who is not combative in any way is in jeopardy even more than it already is at this point with that axe being held up. So taking someone's life is a hard thing, but in this situation it would be something that I've trained for, and through the training and experience I've received, I would know in that situation what I would have to do.
You pull a driver over for speeding and find that it is your mother, who borrowed a friend's car. What is your course of action?
I'll be honest, the part of me would say give her a ticket, but I know that as a police officer, you use discretion. And in this instance, I would be using the discretion to not give my mother a ticket. I know that some people may look at that as a wrong thing to do, or some may look at it as a right thing to do. For me personally, not giving my mother a ticket is me showing discretion as a police officer, which I was given the day that I took the oath and the day that I got my badge. And so in that instance, I would not give my mom a ticket. I'd give her a nice little warning, and we'd probably joke about it for the next couple of years as we go on and move on in life.
Oh, tell us a strength and weakness you have.
I'd say my strength would be my integrity. Integrity, like we talked about earlier, highly important in law enforcement, but for me it's very important to myself. My integrity defines who I am and defines who I will be in the future. Not only is integrity important to me, but I know how important it is to law enforcement. Nowadays we see things all over the news of these different situations where the media is highlighting the negative parts in law enforcement, and I feel that with integrity I can move forward and highlight the positive things in law enforcement. For a weakness, I feel that I may think too much in situations to where I am going to kind of one-up everything in the situation so that I have the upper hand. I feel that at times in law enforcement we can become complacent. And so I feel that as I think and overthink these things, it can be looked at as a weakness, but I feel that I'm doing the right thing in that instance, that I'm able to think about the situation, move forward, get above the threat, the suspect, the possible danger that may be there, and I can make an assessment and a decision, knowing that my decision, no matter what, was a good decision. That if I overthought the thing, and we'll say it's a man and a woman in a dispute, and I don't know exactly what's going on, I need to separate them and I need to call for backup. I don't know this exact situation. I don't know what's in the house, and so overthinking things could be a weakness, but I feel that as it's a weakness, it becomes a strength.